At a certain point, I feel like for me, reels don't work a lot, but
Okay.
carousel posts do. We both know that I'm doing something else as well while I'm doing content creation. How I go about it is that if
I'm getting this understanding that you have an idea that people follow you because how you look, right?
I feel like travel content works very well. These days, people are very keen to know good spots where they can eat or things that they can do. This is like content that gets like shared quite a number of times. Her and I were traveling to Mumbai, and I love creating my content in like sunlight and stuff. We were in an auto and we were like, Bhaiya, can you take us where the sunlight is?
Premium brands like the high-end luxury brands, do they pay well or सब कुछ standardized है?
They may send you like a PR package or something like that, but it's not necessary that they would pay you. They'll be sweet enough to send you maybe like a clothing
product,
item or
okay.
like a skincare thing or like a bag. Sometimes if they are like curating a very nice event, so they would send you an entire look from the brand.
People always have this notion that it is easier for girls to create content, like always.
Slightly controversial, but when I
You were also saying, right, that you have to get comfortable in front of the camera, you have to decide a few things, right? So with me, what I've decided is कि I will keep this as raw as possible, and 1 hour में, because like if I start planning, right, I might not be I'll not be true to my audience, because I want to show the side that is ki how we talk, right? I don't want to be performative,
Yeah.
right? But when it comes to influencing, like how you are an influencer, I would say you're an influencer on Instagram, right? So do you think when the camera turns on or when you're posting something, you are being performative, you're not being true to your personality maybe that you have?
Of course, like I feel like a certain amount of us being performative gets there, and then there are certain brands who require us to be very let's say candid in front of the camera. That is one thing, because someone like me very shy, right? So I would be like, I would take a few takes to get actually comfortable. I think brands nowadays really they like it if a person is being original as possible. They are being candid, and then they have like a very creative way of storytelling.
Okay.
So it was like that, brands wanted something very professionally shot, very like a professional camera, DSLR, this and that. Now brands have made peace with, okay, yeah, we are okay with you shooting with your phone, just make sure it's good quality. And I see that content creators as well are creating such good content which is just iPhone shot.
Yeah.
There are photographers who now offer that, okay, we can get a camera, but we can also shoot from the like a phone as well.
Okay.
And there are such good photographers who create very good content for very good brands, and I just look at it and I'm like, oh, this was iPhone shot, this
Okay.
was edited, and it's well edited.
Yeah.
But it's quite hard to believe that way.
So I think the barrier doesn't matter anymore. Ki if you have a DSLR, if you have a phone,
No.
you can just start creating content.
You just need to be like you need to know like your angles and how the way you are like connecting with your audience. I feel like people have now started being very comfortable in front of camera as well, in terms of their storytelling methods and
Yeah.
stuff. It's gotten very creative.
So I think I have one content creator in mind. Her name is Tarini. I recently discovered her.
Full name?
I am not sure about the full name, but she's basically she's building her brand, which is called Local Ferment Co. If I think she makes kombuchas, and that is her brand, and she runs also. So her content is around her life, but the way she's creating content, right? It's really amazing, because she knows now how to hook you. What is more relatable, what people would watch, what people would not watch. Because I think a lot of times what content creators do is they heavily rely on, like now I'm seeing people heavily relying on ChatGPT, right? But that is where I think as you rightly pointed out, that brands want now storytelling, right? And ChatGPT, I think personally, cannot do storytelling for you, because you have more context, you have your brain, you have your notions, you have a certain way of speaking. ChatGPT से अगर मैं क्वेश्चन निकाल के यहाँ पूछना शुरू कर दूंगा, it will just be an interview, it will not be that. So yeah, you're correct about it, that brands are wanting raw content majorly.
Absolutely. How I go about it is I don't use ChatGPT very often. Maybe I'll take a few ideas and then I'll think around those lines.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people really think that content creation is just you being in front of the camera, perhaps applying skincare and makeup. It looks like an easy task, but it's not, in terms of if a brand reaches out to me for, let's say, a hair care reel and stuff. Now, I have to do the entire thing as to getting in touch with the correct videographer, editor, script writing, and I'm sure you know all of
Yeah.
this. And sometimes it's also the back and forth that happens that, okay, we don't like the script. Now, even if the script is like approved, then we don't like this, change this.
Yeah.
Sometimes those changes are not possible because 2 days ago you already shot that content.
Yeah.
One of the most annoying thing that every creator would be able to relate to is reshooting.
Yeah.
That is the toughest part.
And you cannot be like consistent with the lighting, with the framing and everything, right? Because
Absolutely.
it is a task. Then you'll have to reshoot the whole content again.
Yeah, just matching with the brand's perspective and your perspective, it gets a little difficult because we can't give them exactly the same thing. Sometimes the brand is very happy in one go, everything will be approved, but if not, I have like, so I think any creator who's just like out there and starting, uh my one advice would be, don't get fooled that just because people are very sometimes get very hungry for, let's say, collaborations with, like, oh my god, there's a collaboration, my first collaboration. I think nobody should fall for that in terms of doing barter collaborations,
Okay.
because maybe if you are in it for that and that benefits you, well and good, but if you are there, then one should know how to monetize their content, because sometimes brands feel that I don't know if this is like, if anybody can relate to this as much as I do or not, but sometimes they're like, oh, this person will do barter, it's okay.
Okay.
So I have had this
Yeah,
experience.
they take decisions for you, or they take like they have a certain notion कि ऐसे ही करेगा.
हाँ, they're okay. The word
हाँ.
gets around.
Mhm.
So I have had brands who reached out to me that, okay, can you do for barter? We really don't have budgets. These are the first few things they would say. So I in back of my head, I know, because I have friends in the, here and there, and I would know that, oh no, they can give me a lot for XYZ collaboration. So I'm like, no, I don't work for barter. Earlier, I would be like, okay, at least it's adding up to my profile. That's like don't fall for that. And then I would be like, no, I don't work for barter. And then they would be like, okay, what are your commercials? They'll maybe give me 2K less or 5K less. People really negotiate a lot as well. Annoying part of this would be that they would negotiate for 2-3 days, 1 week, and then they would be like, okay, we'll get back. And after 1 week, they'll be like, we can't do the collaboration, but can you attend one of our events?
Okay.
Now, the event thing, if I am to come to that, attending events in Delhi versus attending events in Mumbai, I think they're very different. No, I'm not saying that Delhi events are boring, but at the same time, I think there's this concept of guest listing that happens a lot. I personally feel like content creators are very tired of attending events these days in
Okay.
Delhi. People have gotten very selective. They would only go for very, let's say, for events which are like of a good brand, are adding up to their profile, where they feel like a lot of people are going to show up.
Yeah.
At the same time, then for, let's say, XYZ is getting paid an X amount for guest listing for a brand with like 50 influencers or something. We know that that guest lister is getting paid a lot, but we may show up like as a good gesture or something, but yeah,
It doesn't get translated to the influencer who's coming to the event.
getting out of your house, getting ready.
Yeah.
I personally don't, like it, because that like
Yeah.
life gets busy, this and that.
Yeah.
I've taken it way down because I feel like you don't have that social battery also all the time.
So you are operating in which genre? That would be lifestyle content, right?
Lifestyle, fashion. I'm trying to shift my focus more towards, because I thought for the longest time I'm like around outfits, makeup, and skincare, and I thought it's high time that I show my like real side also, like my perspective, this and that. So I'm
Okay.
introducing that through carousel posts and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I recently did this post that this is my version of clubbing.
Okay.
Moments of joy minus the dance floor, and then
Yeah.
followed by how my version of clubbing would be grabbing a cup of coffee or
Yeah.
watching a movie with my siblings. And because people get very confused that, oh, you're a content creator, you must
You
go
party
out
on
like
Friday night, Saturday nights you
that
go
is
out.
not true at all. You'll always find me at home or just not out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how difficult it is to have a personality that is introverted and shy, I would say, like, and then in a field where people want you to be out there all the time.
I wouldn't say that I'm very introverted. It depends on how comfortable I am. Where
Okay.
I like, if I'm at an event and if I know my friends over there, and if anybody approaches me sweetly, I'll be very sweet. But at the same time, I'm not always mentally ready. Also, I'm just like, I just want to go home. That,
Okay.
but it's not that difficult. I'm very used to it. Fun thing, when I started with this, I used to feel like, oh my god, everybody is just going at events and I am not invited. And then I still remember the first event that I attended was an event for um, Armani Exchange, and it
Okay.
was in Noida. I
Okay.
live in Gurgaon. So
Yeah.
now I went there and I was just standing there and I didn't know what to do until this friend of mine said that, Deeksha, you're not supposed to do that. She was like, go out there, introduce yourself, this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I actually used to be that person. I'd be attending very nice and good events, but I would just be in a corner, take my content, and, just go back home. And end of the day, I would be like, what was this?
Yeah.
What did I do? Like, why was I there?
Yeah.
Then it started making sense. So I feel like anybody entering the field would feel a little out of place at first, but they should know, like, okay, it's just a part of it. I
Okay.
feel even if you're starting with content creation or anything else, you'll have like a moment of discomfort
Yeah.
initially, and you have to
And
give
that
it
is what
time.
pushes you, I guess.
Yes.
That moment of
You have
discomfort.
to be like a little ready that, okay, because there are people already out there in that field existing since a good amount of time,
Yeah.
and you are just new there. So you have to make your own place as well.
How long it has been for you creating content?
I remember I had now I'm doing law and I was doing English honors like 2 years ago. It was my third year, and I just randomly started. So I still remember my first brand collaboration was with Tootsie Aligners.
Okay. Yeah.
It was related to affiliate marketing and
Yeah.
stuff, and yeah, since then.
Okay. Since then, so it's been what, in 2016, 2017 you said?
No, I took a gap year. Also very bad at math, but
Okay.
I don't remember. I think 3 years.
2-3 years
2-3
you've been
years.
into content. And when did you like feel कि यार मेरा account grow होना शुरू हो गया? Like was it like from the starting itself get go, या फिर you had to do something about it?
I had a decent number of followers, I would
Already?
say. Yes, when I had
Okay.
started, and people would, people would be like, Deeksha, you can earn so much. I was like, no. I used to be like, no, I'm okay with this. What is this and stuff? Until I started realizing, oh, you can earn or something like that. My first thought was never that I'm here to earn money.
Okay.
I just liked clicking pictures of myself and reels and everything, because reels was just like a new thing
Yeah.
back then. At the same time, I feel like anybody who's starting and anybody who's regular posting all sorts of content in terms of a post and reel and stories is regular, they will have a certain point in their journey where any one reel will be like hitting 1 million, 2 million, 9 million. That's how it worked out for me.
Okay.
You feel very nice when your profile goes up there and you have millions of views, 100k plus views on every reel, this and that. But it comes with a certain downfall as well.
Which is?
Now, let's say a reel of a content creator is going viral. Now, it's not necessary that after 3 months your profile is going to have the same sort of engagement,
Yeah.
because of course you're staying consistent, but now that one particular reel, let's say, has 3 million views, and now the course of it being viral is done. Now you'll slowly notice that this, I particularly also face that, yeah, I was reaching 100k plus views, but now I'm like not even getting 10k views. It can be really terrifying to be like, okay, where am I going wrong? And I used to reach out to people, this and that. But then after a certain point, you have to realize that it's not in your control.
Okay.
There is something that I really, let's say, find nice about this whole thing is that you should, instead of chasing views, you should focus on building like a whole community out there, that people
Okay.
know you and they follow you for a particular purpose. And that may sound a little blunt, but that shouldn't be because you look a certain way.
Yeah.
I would want my profile to be out there that because of let's say the way I think or the way I am, not because I look a certain way.
Okay.
So that's something that
So do you like I'm getting this understanding that you have an idea that people follow you because how you look, right?
could be.
Okay, you don't know as
I'm
such.
not no, I'm assuming, but like this is one intention that I have, that
Okay.
I want both sides of my life to be there, how I look, but also other things of my life, like what I
Yeah.
do, how I think.
Yeah.
I think there is one content creator that I really look up to, which would be Hustle Rani.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah. Ankita.
yeah, Ankita.
Yeah.
I really like her content because of how candid she is. Now
Yeah.
she shows very small, things from her life. Like recently, I was watching this reel where she celebrated herself hitting 200K followers.
Yeah.
She played her favorite song, and she put like candles on a cupcake or something. And I think she really promotes the small wins and small moments, or
Yeah.
everything, like her getting new flowers. And I feel like somebody should be as candid as that,
Yeah.
because looking at her profile, you would be noticing that, maybe how to be mentally strong, how to live with yourself, like that.
Okay, yeah, because I've recently started doing this. I was not doing this at all. Like if I get a a good guest, or if I my account less just say reached 6 million views in 365 days on YouTube, right? So I had a think here, YouTube per 6 million views is difficult. Like Instagram pe I can still get a reel, it can go viral. YouTube pe it is still hard. So I have also started celebrating that, and I think it's okay, because it is something that we are doing, right? It is something that we are working towards, and if we are reaching a certain way, then why not just celebrate it, right? So the idea here is that I was at a breakfast last weekend, and I was talking to a few friends of mine. They are not from the industry; they are just corporate. They're working in the corporate. So one of them says this, that I feel. So we were talking about what are your controversial opinions, right? There was the conversation that we are having, and then this woman goes like that. Content creation is the most easy job, and I feel content creators don't do anything, right? So what do you have to say about that? Like,
So I'll start with a very small, perspective that I have of it as well. I think 1 or 2 years ago, I was traveling with my cousins, and a villa was kind enough to host us. Right now, all my siblings are very different. They're all like doing their own thing in corporate and this and that, and I am different. Now, there would be times when people don't understand what you do.
yeah,
I feel like in society as well, people have a certain way of
looking at you.
looking at it.
Yeah.
They don't respect content creation like a lot. And I get where they are coming from, and
Okay.
not until and unless somebody is in your shoes would like be able to respect your profession.
Yeah.
Somebody could be like, "Oh, why do you want to be a lawyer? Oh, why do you want to be a fashion designer? Oh, she's not doing anything."
Yeah.
It's very easy to say that, but at the same point, I feel like do what makes you happy. End of the day, now it's not an easy thing. I
Yeah.
feel like every, like I said during the start of this as well, that everybody wakes up and gives their 100% content creation.
Yeah.
There would be like so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Like let's say we are shooting right now, let's say this light goes off, one
Yeah.
camera goes off, we are helpless.
Yeah.
I have had those moments. Now let's say I'm shooting outdoors and I'm shooting in a whole Indian outfit, which is very heavy. Who do I have? I don't have an assistant or anybody. I do
Yeah.
everything very like it's just me, and then I would have my videographer. Sometimes no assistant. Now I'm, let's say, like the horse cast fort or something. It is very difficult because you're handling yourself, the
The
videographer,
people around you.
don't even get me started. Because let's say if I'm shooting with a mall, it is very difficult because I think I was shooting at a mall recently, and then people are just so surprised and they're like, "Oh my god, look at her, she's shooting." People are, sometimes the most annoying part is that they would like take out their phone and they would start recording, and then you just get like very angry, and I get very like, I just want to go. I
Okay.
want to go back home. It gets very uncomfortable, but then end of the day, I think what keeps me going is when I see the content, the outcome, I'm like, okay, worth it.
Okay.
So
But don't you think one of the takes on this is that as a content creator or even as a celebrity, right? You are putting yourself out there. So people, take that authority to, criticize or to do that. I'm sure the recording and everything is not something that one should do. But as content creators or as actors in Bollywood, I think you are putting yourself out there. So you are bound to that that little.
So if we are talking about with respect to getting hate,
Yeah.
right? Now I feel like there are a lot of people who are very opinionated
Okay.
out there, and they are the quickest to like people very close to me have gotten a lot of hate, and I've seen, like, I've heard about them struggling because of this.
Okay.
For me, how I deal with hate comments is something, it's not that I've never like had anybody trying to put me down or calling me a
Yeah.
certain something or whatever, but my approach is very like my mindset is very that I only get very affected from my family or my closest ones. Rest all I feel is very like noise for me. So if I see a comment that I feel slightly is that I find it negative, I just delete it, I block the person, and I forget about it.
Okay.
I think that's how people should be about it. I'll have, of course, now with you saying that you're out there and everything, people make fake profiles. So many
Yeah.
times we see that, okay, people are just uploading stories like report this account and XYZ. Maybe not the best approach, but what I do is I just text that account that, hi, I request you to take down this. I never like said yes to this.
Okay.
Please do so, or else I'll have to take an action.
Yeah.
90% of the time they're like, okay, sorry. I recently had this thing and I texted someone and they were like, okay, sorry, big fan. That's it.
Do you think they just want attention and that is why they do comment like this, so
Absolutely.
that they get your attention?
I mean, I've never given it a thought, but I'm just like, then I'm at peace that, okay, taken down, well and good. Sometimes they would be like smart enough to, like, if they have a bad intention towards you, they would block your every profile. So then I have my friends like, you know what, text this account. I'll like text my best friend that, listen, inko text karo, this is not
Okay.
fine. So yeah, that has happened.
Okay, a lot of people, I think, become keyboard warriors, and I think even Shah Rukh Khan said this in one of the podcasts that whoever has a tongue to say anything about me, I would just go to their house and take a selfie with them, because at the end of the day, it's about a selfie,
Yes.
or in this case, an attention maybe, or maybe just people have bad intentions, and you cannot do anything about it.
Absolutely.
I have seen that you are into fitness a lot. You are, posting stories about the gym and being fit, and I think yoga also you do a lot. So does that really help you with your content or something, or why do you do that? Like, it's just a routine that you have.
A lot of times I've had people telling me that you should post about your fitness a lot. They'll
Yeah.
ask me my diet, and I'm very shy to tell my diet because it's very bad sometimes.
Okay.
I'm a vegetarian and I do eat unhealthy as well.
Okay.
It's not that I'm not very like, oh my god, I'm gonna eat eggs now and I'm gonna eat, like, take care of my protein intake. But fitness has been like a part of my day-to-day life since 2-3 years, or even back during school days. I've taken like good breaks also, but at the same time, like, I think I get it from my dad because he was a lot into fitness. And then my siblings, so my eldest brother, he is also a lot into fitness. Now looking at them, I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I think 2 years ago I didn't know that, okay, what am I supposed to do in the gym. I was just that girl that, okay, sir, you tell me what should I do. And then
Yeah.
I think just 2 years after that, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this certain exercise and this is the reason and all of that. So
Yeah.
now that once you start educating yourself and you know more about why you are there and what you're doing and all of that, so it becomes a very exciting journey.
Yeah.
Because most of the times I think people start and then they feel that, oh my god, this is not happening, I'm not seeing any change in my body, and they would just quit.
Yeah.
That who will go to the gym, who will do this. Now it has come down to a point that I will follow my routine, but I'm so inclined towards trying new things when I'm in the gym. Like, I have these personal things that, oh, I want, like, now people are very like this, people are very keen to be like, oh my god, I did my first handstand, I did
Yeah.
my first pull up, and now
Yeah.
I can do 10 push-ups. So
Yeah.
you should have those small goals, practice that. And I think that's what also keeps me going. I obviously have my days when I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't want to go to the gym. I take my entire day off also sometimes when I'm feeling off.
Yeah.
But it also helps you a lot mentally to give you like a clear mind.
I think, like anything, it is also a journey, right? Like, it is never linear, or it is never going up, right? There will be ups and downs, and even I think with content, it is the most happened thing. Like, you see ups and then you see downs. So like when you post a reel or when you are seeing कि अब मेरा content नहीं चल रहा है, right? I think you have talked about कि कैसे you can get back to it, but what steps would you take? Like अगर मेरा जैसे let's say I am a content creator, let's say I'm starting out, मैंने fashion का content बनाया थोड़ा सा and I got to a certain point and now my account is not growing, right? So what would you do then?
At a certain point, I feel like for me, reels don't work a lot, but
Okay.
carousal posts do. Where we both know that I'm doing something else as well
Yeah.
while I'm doing content creation. How I go about it is that if I don't see growth in my like Instagram, so I'll focus somewhere else as well.
Okay.
Now, for I recently was traveling. I feel like travel content works very well. I
Okay.
feel like these days people are very keen to know uh, good spots where they can eat or things that they can do. This is like content that gets like shared quite a number of times. So you should also like coming back to being creative. So you should be creative with what you're creating, and something that people actually want to know. If I'm to talk about this, there's this trend going on since years now. Get ready with me.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying I'm not doing that, but it's a very low effort concept as well.
Yeah.
I get it. A certain someone would be putting that effort, that actually getting out there in front of the camera, but it's a very criticized concept as well. That why should I watch you getting ready, this and
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
do this in your own washroom, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, people are bored of it. People want to see new things.
Okay.
Now, let's say I'm not a content creator and I'm watching someone's reel of getting ready, right? I'm like, okay, what do I do of this? For my first thought would be like, okay, pretty, but now what? But now what if I see that, oh, XYZ person traveled, let's say Jaipur, and they tried these many places. So maybe I'll share it with my sister or a
Okay.
friend that, oh, let's go here. So basically create more shareable content, something that's adding up to your audience's life as well.
Yeah.
I think that helps. I
Okay.
recently traveled and now I have like, I was at around 100K views and now I'm like at 800K views.
Okay.
So, travel content does help.
It is working.
Yes.
Okay. And which genre does pay well? Like which have you had कि ये वाला अगर मैं करती हूँ so इससे मेरे को अच्छा पैसा मिलता है. This might be a regular thing, but this is not that amount. So is travel that
Necessarily not travel, because I feel like travel would the benefits that travel content would give you, that now let's say I'm like a full-fledged travel content creator and I create only content related to that. I would maybe have properties that would be like,
Invite
okay,
you.
invite me
Okay.
and stay with us and stuff, but necessarily not paying me. Now what I have heard is that people are very like brands related to skincare and makeup do end up paying a lot.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And like if someone wants to start, like let's say I want to start a page right now, I want to start creating content, would you advise me to do that? Like with the competition that you see, with things that you see, would you advise your best friend to start creating content or not?
I would never say no, because people are again very keen to know that, let's say there was this 75 hard day challenge.
Yeah.
Now so many people worked around that trend. There are people vlogging so many things. If you see that people are very like, this is my day one of XYZ.
Yeah.
Now this is a certain hook that works, and people are very keen to know ki acha, this is what's happening in someone else's life. People really like content that they can relate to. Now let's say if I am seeing a lawyer's content
Okay.
and I see that he is working out every day
Yeah.
and he's waking up at 4 a.m. Let's say tomorrow now I am a lawyer and I would be like, oh, I saw XYZ is waking up at 4 a.m. and he's also going to the gym. I can also do that.
Yeah.
It acts as a motivational aspect also.
Okay. And let's say we were talking about कि you would advise someone to create content, right? But I personally feel कि जब इतने सारे लोग हो जाते हैं एक space में, do you think it hampers the industry? Because for example, like you were saying, right, like you might not do barter content, you are a full-time content creator, but someone who has a job on the side and also is creating content and would do barter, do collabs, agree to what the brand says, do you think these people hamper the industry somehow?
I feel there's a lot of competition out there, especially with females. Now, if I'm like, hi, yes, I charge X amount for these set of deliverables. if the brand thinks or the agency person thinks that, oh, this is too much, they're like, okay, next one. So they are very quick to move to the next person. And there's it, you also have to have a very good relation with brands and everything if you want to end up with collaborations.
Okay.
I would personally, being very honest, this is something that I am also still uh, dealing with and like trying to find my own piece, that okay, this is how it works.
Okay.
Because it's like starting from scratch. I still learn new things. I work with very good brands also, brands that have just started as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes now I worked with, let's say, a mall for X amount. Now that entire campaign is done. Now maybe let's say I didn't get good enough commercials for that.
Yeah.
Today she maybe reached out to me that can you also work for the same commercials for another mall. I was like, no.
Okay.
Yeah. The efforts and the hard work, sometimes it's like it doesn't, if you end of the day, if you feel like it's not worth it, no matter how much ever money you're getting, then it's like not worth it. It should be
Okay.
able to help me sleep that okay, I did something and my efforts
Yeah.
were worth it.
Okay. So you're a full-time content creator and you're also studying, right? So what are the avenues of a content creator that gets him or her the commercials, right? So as a content creator like you are into lifestyle, fashion, and now you're also venturing out into talking head videos, I'll say, like personal opinionated videos that you want to create. So what are the avenues, I think, and how does this process work? Like let's say I am a content creator, I start creating content in the fashion space only, right? मैंने कुछ set of followers है मेरे पास मान लो let's say 2000 followers हैं, right? I'm very new, right? Now which avenues I can look forward to start earning from it, and can I start earning at 2000 followers?
Of course, it's not necessary that oh, you need to have 30K followers or 50K followers just to be earning. If brands notice you, they notice you. One trick that I think is out there is that, let's say, it's not necessary that let's say an X brand is like, please make a skincare reel out of this sunscreen. You can just maybe make a note of 3-4 sunscreens that you love using. You're putting content in, you're tagging those brands. Now what happens is that maybe those brands will notice you, they will repost your story. If they repost your story, then maybe another brand would notice. That's
Okay.
how you get your name also out there. It's not always necessary that I am not going to create content if I'm not getting paid, if I don't have work. You keep doing that and it will get you somewhere.
Okay. So basically, like I can open Blinkit, I can see 4 skincare brands and I can talk about them
Of course.
if I try them, and
Of course.
So that is a genuine listicle video, right? These 4 say skincare products that I really like, something like that.
I'm not going to say that like people initially can go for barter as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that you're buying, like, let's say now, not just because I'm saying this, that there is a certain content creator and they're like buying a sunscreen worth 3,000, 4,000, this and that. If you have it, create content around that. It can literally be like a skincare product worth 500 rupees or something. You just have to create your content around that, know what you're doing. You can't be also mixing things. Like let's say your first reel is about skincare and now your second reel is about something else only, absolutely different. So this is a very close friend gave me this advice that if you're focusing at a certain something, then create your content around that only, and know what you're doing since the start. Don't keep shifting your focus. Now it can't be that I'm creating a very valuable, like informational kind of a reel in the start and my second reel is something very humorous to the audience. So that's like a way of confusing your audience, may not work.
Okay. And I think now, I think you said in the starting that it's more about like how you want to present yourself. Like people shouldn't just follow you of certain way that you look. So I feel this has been in the past also, but somehow it got lost in between, and now it is coming back, which is personality based content, right? Like how we were talking, this is how I look, this is how I'll sit, this is how I'll talk. This is the same way that I talk to my friends, same way I'll talk on the camera. I think that is what people do connect with more, and that is what is working now.
Yeah.
I also feel that. Okay, so when you are also you're also doing law, right? So how difficult it is to manage both the things, because you have college, you have studies, right? And then you have to also create content, and now I see creators posting like each and every day, like it's like sometimes 2 reels a day, and I get the pressure कि यार मेरे को भी इतना डालना पड़ेगा, because if my competition is posting 2 reels a day, I'll have to do that. it is how the algorithm would serve me then.
So, uh, answering how I manage it, now I know in my mind that I'll never either step back from content creation, or I'll never, like, if I've started law, I'm a second year student right now, right? I'll never step back from being a law student or my aim of being a lawyer one day, right? How I manage it now, let's say in the month of July, I was interning for a month, and I used to be back around 7, 8, or 9 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m. as well. Any lawyer watching this would be able to relate to it, that you never know the kind of working hours. It's not even for a corporate lawyer,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily 9 to 5. You just do not know the kind of hours that you're going to put in those 24 hours. Now during that time, everything had stopped in terms of I would not know that if I'll be able to go to the gym or not.
Okay.
So I had it in my mind that, okay, Diksha, this month just focus on the internship, nothing else.
Okay.
If I had any content that I would feel like, okay, I can post a picture or something like that, I would do. Sundays were off, so I would make sure that I wouldn't take a break on that Sunday. That, okay, I'm gonna rest. I'd wake up late, but then I would go and maybe shoot something, whatever I could. And if I was like feeling very tired, I would be like, okay, calling it a day. I don't
Yeah.
give myself a lot of pressure
Okay.
in terms of, oh no, like I have to create, because there's no point creating content out of pressure. That reflects on your face as well,
Yeah.
that, oh, you're tired, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. This I've learned from my sister, because, okay, she's not a content creator or someone. I think back 2-3 years ago, her and I were traveling to Mumbai,
Okay.
and I love creating my content in like sunlight and stuff. So we were literally there. We were in an auto, and we were like, Bhaiya, can you take us where the sunlight is? So, and the sunlight was not there.
Okay.
So I was very upset. We were returning back home, and she was like, Diksha, you need to understand this by hook or by crook, but that things are not always going to work in your favor.
Yeah.
And I reached, my upset level was still here, and then I understood, and I was like, okay, now that things like just sticks around me. So now recently I traveled to Sri Lanka with her, and I made it a point that even though if she's watching it, she would disagree, but I was like, I am not going to be after anyone that, hi, can you click my picture? That gets annoying for another person also.
Yeah.
But circling back to the main topic, you don't have to be pressurized that, oh, you're traveling, so you need to get that picture that you saw on Pinterest. You get your content, you get your content. You don't, you don't. And coming back to managing it, like, I feel like both the things that I'm doing in my life are equally important. Sometimes I feel guilty that I'm not giving law too much time. I'm not doing this. I am this person. End of the day, I'll always feel like I'm not doing enough, even though if I've given my 200%. But eventually, you will like
Yeah.
reach somewhere in life. So I really like doing two things in life, like managing and this and that.
Okay. So when we talk about brands, right? I've seen that you also said that you worked for Armani, you have worked for premium brands, right?
I've not worked for it, like I've attended
At an event.
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to understand this. Do premium brands, like the high-end luxury brands, do they pay well, or is it like कि सब कुछ standardized है? This is the average that you get.
They may send you like a PR package or something like that, but it's not necessary that they would pay you. That's
Okay.
where that's a very rare, because luxury brands feel like they add up to your profile,
Okay.
not us, because their name is already out there. There are celebrities wearing those brands and this and that. Everybody knows, so they don't need more visibility. It instead helps us getting more visibility.
Yeah, because I had a misconception that, oh, this is a like a bigger brand, right? So they might pay well. They have the budgets, they have the everything, right?
No.
So that's a myth, right?
They'll be sweet enough to send you maybe like a clothing item, or
okay.
like a skincare thing, or like a bag. Sometimes if they are like curating a very nice event, so they would send you an entire look from the brand,
Okay.
but not necessarily that
They'll pay you.
they'll pay you. Yeah.
Okay. And like we were talking about trends also. So how do you basically research your content? Like there have been times that I'm sure that you might run out of ideas and you are like, कि यार अब नहीं हो रहा. Like I have to think something, or I have to take a little while to do that. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Is it Pinterest? Is it somewhere else?
I actually don't have the Pinterest app also. Maybe I
Okay.
should be having a wake up call, but
Yeah.
I don't. Now, what I do is that as a content creator, anybody what content creator watching this would know where I'm coming from. You're always like scrolling down
Yeah.
and looking what other people are doing, right? Now, I am this big person who's going to save reels. So I have this saved folder by the name of ideas.
Okay.
Now, whenever I feel like, oh my god, I don't know what to create, I'm just like done and stuff. So I'll open that folder, I'll go through the reels, I'll be like, okay, next I can create this. So I never go out of ideas that way because I keep on saving maybe a certain picture or a carousel that inspires me. I'm not saying like entirely copy it, but then you can create your own version of that sort of content.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you are just suggesting that people can take inspiration from other creators who are actually doing and the content is working, and they can,
Yes.
maybe somehow create an inspired content. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people get disturbed by this. A lot of people get, very angry about it. कि यार ये तो मैंने concept निकाला था. How can you copy it?
You don't copy it like, I'm not encouraging someone to copy someone's content, but let's say I like someone's storytelling way. Now
Yeah.
let's say I am this person, I'll just stand in front of the camera and I'll be like, I'll just talk.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't work out for me, but I see somebody else doing this in another creative way. Maybe saying the same things but changing their locations and saying it and being very creative.
Yeah.
It's a very common way of storytelling, like adding different cuts to your storytelling,
Yeah.
reels and stuff. I think yes, that would also help. So basically, just getting inspired and obviously add your own brains and your idea to it. But I think the best thing you can do, if you, even if you're copying it, is that give the person credits like inspired by XYZ, tagging them and stuff.
People always have this notion that it is easier for girls to create content, like always, like that. Okay, you are a girl, you'll get more views than if I create the same content exact to exact, right? So do you think that is true?
Again, slightly controversial, but when I was starting with my journey, so very, very, he's a very big creator. But I was like, listen, what should I do? I'm not understanding. And I was in that phase where I was not getting views. He said, Diksha, you have two options. Either you show who you are, or you just be a very pretty, nice looking girl, and that would be your, how your profile would look. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And he said, but don't just say yes to any brand who's paying. Like, don't be after the money, because there would be brands would be like expect you to do the most absurd things and this and that. I've said yes to those people, and I'm like, sorry, can't do it. I've said no as well. If
Okay.
something, I think it's very important to know where to draw a line, because when you're out there, you don't have to be like, oh my god, I have these many followers. You also have to realize that you are exactly itna out there. These many people are looking at you. So you have to see from that perspective also, and then you have to draw a line towards it, how you're portraying yourself. Is it in a not to offend anyone, but is it in a respectful manner? Are you looking like a fool or not? Again,
Yeah.
like just being very honest. So you have to draw, like, you don't have to chase followers that way.
Yeah. Okay. What was that brand brief that you can talk about? Like, if you don't name the brand, but just what were they expecting? What the absurd brief that you might have come across?
Is That's quite the story. Now they wanted me to now there is this thing that I don't know if it still goes on or not, but when I had started, people would want me to promote songs, like just use our song, that's
Okay.
it. Maybe make a simple reel, but just use the song, and they would pay like a decent amount of money for that. Now that brand wanted me to be in a public place and just create like, me posing and stuff, but also create like people looking at me.
Okay.
And I shot that, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. It made me feel like this is not me at all. So I did shoot, and they were like, Diksha, this is not solving the purpose. And I was like, you know what? This is not doing it for me. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Okay.
So you don't, I feel like I'm really blessed by like I don't have to like be like, if I don't have content creation, I have nothing. So I have that thing that I can say no as well.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel uncomfortable, I think any creator, even somebody starting as a creator, should be able to say no if it makes you feel uncomfortable, because brands have their expectations, but it should align with who you are as a person as well.
Hmm. Yeah, because you're right. Because अगर मेरे को if personally like for me I can talk about myself. So for personally अगर मेरे को कुछ नहीं बनाना तो मेरे को नहीं बनाना because that is not something that I relate to. तो
Yeah.
अगर मैं वो करूँगा भी so it will be just for the views. But so I'll tell you. So बीच में I had a job. I had a corporate job that I quit. So उस time पे I was not able to continue with the podcast because obviously it takes a lot of effort. You reach out to the guest, then you close a date, then वो आते आते like it's a whole process. You've been through that process, so you know it, right? तो उसके बीच में I thought what I'll do is I'll start creating talking head videos on
Yeah.
marketing and on different brands and something like that. Like an easier setup. मैं अपने घर पे बैठा हूँ. I have a script. I narrate it my way. Then I get it edited. Then I post it. But then somewhat I created almost 50 of those videos, 50-60 of those videos to only realize ki yaar this is not something that I like. This is something that I like. This is something that I want to do. I want to get people. I want to talk to them. I want to because how podcasting started with for me was ki I am working on myself. I was this introverted person who can't talk to anyone. मतलब मैं किसी से बात नहीं कर सकता था. So this is something that I was like, अच्छा इसका flip क्या है? इसका flip is talking to people. Okay, why not open a podcast and start doing it? So I think that is what I feel people do lack, and that is why their content doesn't work. Like if you just follow a script or if you follow, if you see content very mechanically, it can get you certain views, but they will not be for the longest term. They will not be sustainable.
So I was in touch with a very sweet content creator back when I'm not going to say that I have never faced problems as a content creator. I have, and we were just discussing what kind of content can I make. I did have that blog, and I was like, I really like, I'm not going to take names, but I really like XYZ's content. She makes travel content and stuff. And she said, no, you can't make that, because I'll tell you what, if you're a shy person, you're maybe not that comfortable in front of the camera. The XYZ creator is very out there, very
Yeah.
blunt, very honest. She has a very honest way of storytelling. To get there, maybe that's her personality.
Yeah.
So you should always know that what aligns with your personality as a person, how comfortable you are. If you are not comfortable in front, now let's say I'm at the mall shooting for the mall, and the brief requires me to speak in front of the camera. Fine, sounds easy. But then when there are people around you and you are talking to the camera, I will feel shy.
Yeah.
So because even if I'm like at a studio and there's nobody else watching, that is also like a task for me. And doing that in a public place is maybe like a task and a half as well. So yeah, like then coming back to, it's very important to know that I can tell the brand that, hi, I am not comfortable with this. Can I add a voiceover? Can I do this and that? You should know where to draw the line.
Okay. And also where your personality suits the content, right?
Yes.
Like if they have a brief, I can tell this कि यार मैं ऐसा content बनाता हूँ, so this is how we can blend this into it,
Yes.
right? I think that is what I think more people can be more communicative about it, but I'm not sure how brands are, because I haven't actively worked with brands. मेरे को जो सामने से आता है, I just only do that. I don't reach out to them personally because I feel कि they are kind of using a person to influence the product. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong. Take everyone is selling, everyone wants to create something to sell, and how they survive. But again, some ethics here and there. But will you? So I'll reframe this better. Like if a person gets a brand very initially that is paying well, but is asking to do something that is not right according to your ethics, would you do that?
I would.
If you're starting out.
I wouldn't. Like, you should, like, it's okay to promote the product. If, like, I'll be very honest, promote the product to an extent, but you should always be original about what you're saying about the product. Like, basically,
But can you be original if the brand is paying?
it depends from person to person. It's
Okay.
very bad if you're fooling your own audience. Now,
Yeah.
one thing about people also, they know it out there within the span of 2, 3, 4 years that, oh, XYZ is getting money because she worked with this brand. They know that we are getting money. We have like a paid collab tag, this and
Yeah.
that. They know it. So I don't know till what extent people get influenced or de-influenced or what, but at the same time, sometimes now if I be like, oh, this much hair fall or this much not hair fall, this and that, or look, my skin has changed, which is where circling back to you have to be original with your way of storytelling.
Okay.
You have to be very careful with your words.
Yeah.
You can't use cliche words like look at my skin before, look at my skin now.
Yeah.
You have to also trust what you're saying. If you're
Yeah.
being fake in front of the camera, your audience will sooner or later know that okay,
कि
whatever, she
सबके बारे में
just,
अच्छा बोल रही है
yeah,
तो
she just got paid. Like
Yeah.
now, I'll give you a very honest example. There's a very, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, a very good content creator, she gets a lot of, let's say, skincare collabs.
Okay.
Now if she's every day promoting, like in 1 month she has created 3 skincare reels for
Yeah.
3 different sunscreen or whatever. So audience would be confused and oh, which one should I use? So
Yeah.
very simple concept. I'm saying that you need to have a balance of the collaborations that you do and the content that you make. If today I'm making a hair care reel, maybe tomorrow I'll make a reel on how to style your hair, and that reel would not be paying me.
Yeah.
So you should know how to balance and also connect with your audience well.
Okay. When you go to events, do the content creators that you meet, are they like very welcoming? Like if you see a big creator, right? There are events जहाँ पे सारे creators आते हैं. So if you see a big creator and you walk up to them, is it usually a good conversation, or is it always like कि they have a certain कि मैं इनसे बात नहीं करूँगी, I have a certain वो around me?
I am very, so no matter who I am there or out there on Instagram, I have my own personality, and I would say that I would never be like I don't want to talk this person this, like, now there's competition in every field, right? What happens is, if I am to differentiate, let's say, between a Mumbai event
Yeah.
and a Delhi event,
Okay.
I don't know how many people will be relating to me on this, but Mumbai content creators are very yes, let's create, very open to helping,
Okay.
very out there.
Welcoming. Yeah.
Yeah. And in Delhi, I'm not saying that people are very rude. I've met few very, very, very sweet people,
Yeah.
but I've also met very, very, why was she like this kind of people,
Okay.
like very high-headed people.
Yeah.
This is one reason why I also do not like attending events, because I end of the day feel like, even if I tomorrow see a content creator who recently is just putting herself out there and let's say has 300 followers, 400 or 3K, 4K, whatever, I would not treat her less than, like, end of the day she's a person, right? So you have to be very welcoming towards other, because it's not that it's going to get me somewhere, but that one person, you should leave a mark that
Yeah.
okay, someone was not rude. Somebody, like, if she has this perspective that I went to an event, 5 creators didn't even smile back at me, but then there was this one person who was very sweet to me, spoke to me for 1 hour, because then I go back to the time when I used to be the one who used to be, like, let's say, standing alone, or I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
I was still, in my process of knowing people. I still remember the people who walked up to me and they were like, oh, hi, what do you do? How are
Yeah.
you? This and that. So that's very important. But again, I'm not going to say that Delhi has very rude content creators. Like,
Yeah.
there are sweet ones as well.
Okay. And you've been living in Delhi, Gurgaon for all your
Since
life?
the start, yes.
Okay. So how have you liked men in Gurgaon, Delhi? How are
In
they?
terms of, like, this field or just in general?
In just in general, because I as I was telling you, like I was out with friends, so they are moved here, they are working in corporate, so they've moved from Mumbai only. So I always have them complain about ki North Indian men are just so they are just so this, they are just
I
so
wouldn't
that, they
say
are
no,
every
yeah.
cab drivers are rude, restaurant people are rude. Like if you go to Mumbai, they are relatively sweeter, they are relatively
I haven't interacted with people from Mumbai
Yeah.
as such. I am a very, that kind of a person that just want to come back home and I spend my
Yeah.
weekends at home or this and that. But at the same time, I mean, there are rude people, there are sweet people, there are these instances. I was just speaking to someone about this, that there are these instances when I'm just there at a mall and I would get approached like, oh my god, your hair is looking so cute, and they would be like, handshake, and I'm just like, what? I was like, and I actually have to be like, I do not like to talk to someone I don't know, but thank you.
Yeah.
So I think even though certain someone is just complimenting, but I think females have a very good intuition that no, I don't like this.
Okay.
So I think any girl has had their fair share of instances where they have this image. And I, as a person, when I am out there in public, I don't like being like getting approached. Not that I'm saying that, oh my God, I'm just such a big person, I get approached by people a lot. Not that, but it gets creepy sometimes. Like even with how people are looking at you, this and that.
Yeah, it gets tough. So break down a viral reel for me. So I'm sure you have seen many viral reels. So what are the things that have stayed consistent across those reels? Like if I want to create, like if I want to put a, as I was saying कि mechanical नहीं होता वो, but if I want to put a mechanical scale to it, what do you think is a viral reel?
So many people will be able to relate to this. The reel that you make with zero effort always
Okay.
goes viral.
Okay.
If I am gonna plan a reel to like, that's different. That if a reel has like very like it's very highly edited, everything is on point. It could be that that would reach like 1 million views and stuff like that. But at the same time, something that I just create, like, you know what, I have to create something. I quickly created something, and this is it. This is my reel, and I just posted it. That could reach like 2 million views. But at the same time, something that you planned since days may not even reach 10K views.
Okay.
So I think this is something that I've noticed. I would love to put it out there that people should stop running after views
Yeah.
and just create original content.
Yeah.
It adds up to your, you know, mental health also, because end of the day, some things are not under your control. What the content you're creating, this and that. There is this trend that I also spoke to my brother about, where people have that, I don't know if you know this, but where people are like, I left my 9 to 5 job to become a content creator.
Yeah.
I have this really, really close friend of mine, and we met at an event that I was only hosting, and she was like, Diksha, I found you very, you know, sweet and stuff. And she sent me a couple of voice notes. She was like, you know what, I am thinking of like, I quit my job and I'm thinking of going for content creation. And I don't know if I should go on looking for another job or not. And I was the first one to tell her that, listen, it's a very tough thing if you think that you're just going to put in months of efforts, and it's not everyone's cup of tea as well.
Yeah.
You should have something, you know, side by side that you are doing. No disrespect to somebody who's just like a sole content creator, like, kudos to their efforts and stuff like that. But then it's a very tough thing, because then your everything in your life depends on, let's say, a certain reel, a certain post, how many brand collaborations you're getting. And many people may be able to relate to this. Those for those, like, you know, it's working out for, it's working out. Jinke liye nahi kar raha, it's not working out.
Okay.
So there are people who are making lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of money. There are people who are not able to make ends meet.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, putting your eggs in one basket could be like a difficult thing.
Yeah. Okay. I know that you love dogs. You post about them. You post a lot on your stories, right? So I am a person who is very scared of dogs. I am very, very scared of dogs. ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं है, बट हाँ बचपन में कुछ instances here and there, and I'm just very scared. So with the recent also, you know, things happening about dogs and everything, how do you like look at it?
I have a very soft corner for animals, is what I would say, not just dogs. And when this thing happened, there were a lot of people just affected by it. For me, I have been taking care of dogs where I stay since years. And I call myself like a dog mom of 20 today.
Okay.
And there have been instances, I'm not saying that I've had like my easy time. There are neighbors who are like, okay, dogs are biting. There have been times when they have just called dog vans that we are all gonna pick them up. No hate towards anyone who's scared of dogs, but then there is, the society is divided into types of people here. Dog lovers, those who are scared of dogs, and those who have a certain different level of hatred for
Yeah.
dogs. You can't be like, let's say, worshipping a certain animal and then being like, no, we are just bothered by the noise. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should be able to coexist with dogs. Now, the people would be the first ones to be like, oh my god, there are so many puppies, just get them removed. but then they will never take an effort to be like, okay, let's get a certain dog neutered or sterilized and this and that. I have had neighbors who are not even dog lovers, but have given a certain amount of money, time, and effort that, oh, you're getting these dogs neutered. We are going to give a certain amount because they understand and are educated enough to be like, yes, this is
Yeah.
for a good cause. So I feel like one, instead of putting their energy towards hating dogs, fighting with humans about it, they have to understand that, okay, these animals are voiceless, and then there are humans speaking on their behalf,
Yeah.
fighting on their behalf and stuff. So I feel like people should be putting in their energies towards good place instead of just hatred. um I was in touch with an animal activist, again, not taking names, but she did a lot in this recent case as well. Been there, out there, and stuff. So I was in conversation with her that, listen, there was a certain dog van that had come here and this and that. What should we do? Instead of like, we don't want to send our dogs anywhere. We are very close to us.
Yeah.
The solution to, let's say, dogs barking, creating noise, fighting, is that you feed them well.
Okay.
If you're giving them this much food, you give them this much food. It keeps them calm. You Once a dog is actually sterilized and neutered, they themselves get very calm.
Okay.
So I feel like one should again know how to coexist. I completely get that dogs do bite and this and that, but at the same times, again, if we go back in time, we have been coexisting with animals and especially dogs since 100 years.
Yeah.
It can't be that since only 2 years,
Yeah.
dogs have been biting a lot.
Yeah.
That there are now 200, 300, or these many dogs cases, rabies cases, this and that. It's not possible. So I feel like media also has a very important role in this, that where they are just showing a certain type of news and not showing the other side, which also affected people at large.
Or maybe taking an interest from a particular news and then plugging this more so that people get directed towards this, or maybe something has happened somewhere to just bury that. So as you rightly said that I personally am a dog, I'm scared of dogs, but I really don't want कि कोई उन्हें हटाए या फिर कोई उन्हें मारे या फिर
Exactly.
like there's a specific space that I have. There's a specific space that dog have. Okay, I don't enter into his or her space. She doesn't enter into my space. So I think that is something that people should understand, because maybe like it was filled. My Instagram was just filled because, again, if you are a lover, hater, just scared of dogs, everyone was being pushed that dogs content, and I was like, okay, this is something that I can talk to you about a lot.
It was a very like, now you tell me yourself. You're not a dog hater, but you're scared of dog. There are so many instances, again, like trigger warning, but let's say you come across a reel where a dog is getting brutally beaten up,
Yeah.
or there are even cases towards dogs and so
Yeah.
many things, right? If you come across something like this, you feel, as a human with like a nice soul and heart, you would feel like, oh, what did I just see? I want to
Yeah.
help, or this was not right. When these are the incidents that are happening, we should, as humans, we have the brain to understand that, okay, this is wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not about that. I get it that the society, people have suffered enough when there are dog bites, this and that. But then it's also the animals who suffer on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's not like there were instances where I saw that dogs were just thrown on a particular highway. Even the Rohini case, this and that. So it's a very emotional topic to talk
No, I
about.
can understand.
Sometimes a person can be very emotionally overwhelmed. My way of that was like, if I have today 20 dogs in my lane, I make sure that when I am feeding them, it's not on the road but mere driveway mein.
Okay.
Not when people are walking around, because now what happens is that if you're feeding 5 dogs and there are people walking around, they would get protective, they would like maybe bark, try to bite you, this and that. You have to be very careful of the timings.
Yeah.
Dog feeders should also understand this. I have myself faced this issue that people would be like, hello, don't feed them here, hello, don't feed them here. You have to have a very calm approach while talking to people who are against these dogs and
Yeah.
are dog haters. because now you have to understand that a certain person is coming from a very angry point of view. If you're gonna reply to anger in anger, you'll obviously go through
Yeah, fight, heated
fight and
exchange. Yeah.
heated argument. It's like probably a psychological thing. Whenever anybody says anything to me that, oh, don't feed them here, I'd be like, yeah, sure, okay, not an issue, like that. So you have to have a very calm approach, because end of the day, one should remember that they are doing this for the dogs.
Yeah.
If now you get into an heated argument, you never know, that neighbor would be like, tomorrow I'm gonna get them removed. What if,
Yeah.
God forbid, they're like, I'm gonna poison these dogs, I'm gonna beat this dog out of hatred.
Hmm.
So keeping the dogs in mind, you should have
Yeah.
like a fair reply.
So you have this thinking. I think we fairly bit talked about on our call. We talked about spirituality also. Like you're into that, right? So how did that start? How did you maybe people say that you find your purpose, right? So how did you get into it?
I think 2 years before, when I started my journey as a law student, I had to take a gap year.
Okay.
Now, I really believe in this very strictly, that you should keep how spiritual you are very, like, as a secret. Like, you know how you would be like very secret about your debit card, credit card, your salary. It should be one of those things, because one should not talk about this very openly, because it's between you and your God. How, but again, to answer how it started for me, was I was very terrified, and I was going to give like an exam for my, like, a law entrance exam. And that gap year for me was like my life had stopped for 1 year and delayed everything else in my life. Now I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm not able to sleep. So my dad helped me understand like a certain something, and helped me, be like, you should meditate. And I started meditating. And I used to be a very, let's say, to an extent, I would be short tempered. I would be very impatient, overthinking, always jumping onto the wrong conclusions. It made me a very calm person. Once you start, actually believing into being spiritual and being out there, you will understand that you alone are enough, in the sense that there would be times, if you are meditating, you would cry. Instead of crying to your certain friends, end of the day, if you're praying to God and crying there, I feel like that is the right place where you should be thinking. All my overthinking, end of the day, ends up to me meditating. And then the sleep that you get, I have not had like a very, sleepless night ever since, like, um I started meditating. So it's safe to say that my life turned upside down ever since I started meditating, because I made peace with a lot of things. Something is not working out, not working out. You make peace with the wrong things that are happening in your life. And it's a lot of people say this. Once you start being spiritual, you will see a lot of people walking away from you, leaving your life. You will feel that like your power to detach gets very strong. You're okay. You make peace that, okay, this person just walked out. Okay, fine. You will actually feel that there is somebody protecting you.
Okay.
So that feeling is, I feel, like a very special feeling to me.
What is your idea of spirituality? Like, how do you think about spirituality? What is it to you? If you have to
It's
explain it.
it's a very safe feeling.
Okay.
It's a feeling where you feel that there is somebody looking out there for you. When you are young and you feel that you have your entire life ahead of you, and you feel that, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What if XYZ person leaves me? And when you have that thought that, okay, so what? For me, everything, I'm this person, everything comes down to um, my family. I am this person who really believes in, making your karma right. Now, I'll give you an example. There are people, again, no offense to anyone, but then there are people who will make their karma good with an intention, God is watching. If you have the right intentions that, oh, I'm doing this, but with zero intentions, like, now I think the closest way of making your God smile would be making your karma right.
Okay.
One thing that would help a person be like have a good night's sleep would be knowing that I hurt no one today.
Okay.
So when I see all these things, let's say somebody hitting a dog, somebody hitting a person, somebody maybe cheated someone, this and that, I feel like how is that person able to sleep
Hmm.
like that? So I'm not saying okay, I'm a very good person or anything like that, but as long as you have the right intentions, like if I'm walking out of the house and I know I'm not gonna do anything wrong to someone, your karma is good, you're good to go.
Okay.
That.
How have your relationships changed since you have, ventured into spirituality and you are, actively taking care of that? And by relationships, I obviously mean the family relationships, but have you had like partner relationships that have changed over time?
So I am very, very, very close to my family.
Okay.
I'm or even before I'm this person that if things don't go my way, I get very angry, I get very paranoid. I used to have a very suddenly I used to get very angry. Like I said, I used to be very hot-headed. Once you start meditating and trusting the process, actually you'll see that if there's a situation in front of you that requires your reaction in a negative way, and you're likely to react in a very negative way, once you start meditating and being spiritually more awakened, you would feel that your reaction is very calm and composed.
Yeah.
If I go back to the Diksha that I was 2 years ago, and let's say I'm in a certain situation today, I would have reacted the opposite way. So you become very calm and you make peace, like I said, peace with things that even the if today let's say I was while I was on my way to the studio, maybe the cab's tire got punctured or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, if anything goes south, you're able to make peace even
Okay.
with the great lows in your life. Certain things in life will always help you remember why this negative thing had happened in my life that made me suffer so much emotionally. Everything starts making sense to you, that
Okay.
maybe I was not able to get there. Very small example would be I was trying to meet a friend. That plan got cancelled. When I was on my way back home, it started raining so heavily, people were stuck for 8 9 hours. If you, very small example, but then you'll understand that, oh, this happened because of this, like that.
Okay. And you also talked about like prior to this that you believe in astrology, right? So what is your idea of astrology? Because I have had astrologers come on the podcast, and I personally never believed in it, like believed कि मैं ये specifically करूँगा या फिर मेरे को ये करना चाहिए. I obviously have an idea कि बहुत लोग मानते हैं, बहुत लोग like get the benefits of it, but what is your idea of astrology?
So again, I don't like to get into it in the sense that I feel like what's written for you is written for you. This I've learned the hard way, that the more you ask, that you go to an astrologer and be like, hi, can you tell me how my next 5 days are going to be like, or 5 years, when will I get married and stuff. Now what my this is something that my dad has taught me, that what's written for you is written for you. When once you go to a certain someone, an astrologer or whoever, and keep asking about the future, in a way you're disrespecting what God has written for you, is what
Yeah.
I feel. Even though I'm not saying that I'm not very curious to know that hi, when will this happen and stuff. But again, now there's this thing, like I'm a number 5, I was born on 14th August. Now I keep, and now my Instagram is also full of how number 5 people are, with a Mulank number 5 and 1 or 6 and that. My dad is a number 6, my mom is a number 4, and my brother is a number 3. So there's a joke that goes around in my family that my dad and I are able to take jokes, but my mom and my brother are not, because they're a number 3 and 4.
Okay.
So these are very fun conversations that we have. And even when, let's say, my best friend is a number 1, so I keep telling him that, you know what, we are best friends because you are a number 1. So these are like little fun aspects to as to how I
Yeah.
see these things as well.
Because I feel a lot of people, like even with AstroTalk and these apps coming up, right, I see a lot of people heavily dependent on it for their day-to-day life. Like for example, लाइक अ सिंपल थिंग यार, मतलब मेरे को अगर आज कहीं जाना है, आई जस्ट आस्क ऑन द ऐप, क्यों, मतलब व्हाई, आई कैन बी सेल्फ sufficient enough to
Yeah.
have that understanding, or be open to that experience, and not ruin that experience by asking, as your dad said. I think you should not disrespect what is written.
I would believe things to an extent where I feel like, let's say I'm going through a Rahu Mahadasha or something like that. I would be like, oh, this is the phase in my life that I'm going through, and I would respect that and try
Okay.
to learn as much as I can. I think those things make more sense to me than, I am a number 5. Can you tell me why did I react this way? Or
Okay.
you shouldn't be that heavily dependent.
Very general, so you shouldn't go for very general
Yes.
stuff.
Now I am a Leo and I am a number 5, so I would know that my personality is based on number 5. I do see that I get along with everyone very well. I think something that really turns me off in a person is when a person is extremely rude and very, let's say, high headed, very
Yeah.
materialistic. That way, I see my life in a very different way. Now,
Okay.
according to my chart, I was just in conversation with a friend, and he was like, according to your chart, you have like you're close to dog and this and that. And he said that you have a very high K2 energy, I would say. So it's like a monk in Himalayas.
Okay.
Now, and I was able to relate to that. Like, I may not like absolutely love a lot of materialistic things, or I would not chase those things. For me, everything comes down to a very few things in my day to day life, and that would be I get a lot of peace when I spend time with my dogs, family. If I'm able to incorporate a workout during those 24 hours, I go to sleep thinking that okay, everything was done well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like when you are, let's say, satisfied with easiest of the things, right? Like, for example, I'm not saying satisfied, I'm just saying that you respect those things, like spending time with your family, spending time with your dogs, having a good workout and having a good meal, sleeping happy, right? Do you think being content with these things that we have somewhat kills the hunger for better things in life, or maybe a certain improvement in life? Do you think so?
Didn't get your question.
So for example, let's say I am content with whatever I have, like this is something that I am content with, I'm very satisfied with, right? So do you think that kills my ambition to get more in, or maybe reach a certain
I think
point?
my perspective is that when you're supposed to get somewhere, no, you will reach there by hook or by crook, by your own lessons that you learn. So when things don't go, I have had days when nothing goes right in my life.
Yeah.
Nothing. Maybe let's say I had to take an off. Like recently, only I had to take an off. I couldn't reach college. I thought I'll take myself for a nice lunch. Very funny thing, the card declined.
Okay.
And then it was raining. I was not able to get out. I had a very bad day.
Okay.
Now, while meditating, I would be very irritated, this and that. I feel like even when you're going through lows in your life, maybe with respect to your ambition, your career, this and that, it's very important for one person who is like, uh, if a person is spiritual, not spiritual, but then you would feel like even a person who is not that spiritual, in the worst state, uh, situation would be like, oh my god, what are you punishing me for?
Yeah.
So I feel like God finds his own way where you would be able to remember him, that
Yeah.
listen, and you would, even a person who's not again spiritual would find himself or herself crying to God,
Yeah.
that why is this not working
Or
out,
cursing,
why
yeah.
me?
Yeah.
And then maybe after a few days the person would see things are solving. So I feel like, what is the purpose of life if you get everything? Maybe the wealthiest of the wealthiest man would have lows in his life, and I feel that's God's way of getting that person close to him. That,
Okay.
oh, I am the creator, I am the destroyer.
Yeah.
If I want, I can destroy you tomorrow, like that.
Yeah.
So, again, one person should not take the good things in life for granted
Yeah.
as well.
What is happiness for you?
My family.
Your family?
Everything comes down to my family. If I've had the worst day and I see, let's say, my family smiling, laughing, having a laugh, we're all sitting together, I would not care how my day is going, but that everything comes down to me for like my family is happy, I'm good, like that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Diksha, I would want to, talk more about spirituality. Maybe, some other episode that we can, plan on. Because I am personally, trying to get myself to meditate every day. And I can say that I see the benefits. Like, I see how it can, just simplify your thinking, or, clear the clutter out of your head, and you can have a very good next day. So I would want to do that. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much
me.
for watching this. Go follow Diksha. It's in the description. And if you're here from Diksha's profile, consider subscribing. Thank you so much.